I'm so stoked. Howard, I am so stoked because I'm about to cook with one of my favorite brands in the world. This is Imperfect Foods. Have you ever heard of it?
I haven't.
Okay, Imperfect Foods is a box that comes to your house, and it can come weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, and it sends you ingredients that would normally get thrown away. Unbelievable concept. Unbelievable. Look at the back. I just love this. I'm gonna read this to you. Whoever said one person couldn't make a difference in the fight against food waste obviously never met you. I love it! I love it so much, and Imperfect Foods is coming to Seattle in a much bigger way, which is so rad, but I thought, I don't know what's in this box, but I'm gonna make it into something very Seattle. So this is my corner yakisoba with Imperfect Foods in 15 minutes. Here we go. I think I'm gonna bust this out so fast. All right, I'm a little bit nervous, like what is in here? Let's see. All right, celery. I can work with celery. It's winter, so you're gonna get like seasonal stuff. Look at this carrot. That carrot can't be sold. That carrot can't be sold. But it tastes like a carrot, right? So why is this going into the garbage? It's nuts. Okay. This is why I love these people. This one may be too big, right? It's not the right size. One thing I learned, I actually visited Imperfect Foods, is that if a pepper doesn't stand up on its own, it gets thrown away because they need to stack it at grocery stores. Stick it in. I hate it. I don't know why I started the timer and now I'm getting in this rant. All right. Cabbage, I like cabbage. Potato's a little bit of that's a tough one. I can do potato though. I've got some onion and some garlic. All right, I can do all that. There's just more potato and carrots. Let's go to work. So I've got a pan, super high heat. I'm gonna grab a knife. And what I'm gonna do first is, I think this potato is gonna send me for a loop. Let's see if I've got a cheese grater. Yeah. So I'm gonna grate the potato like I'm making latkes, right? So just grate it nice and fine. And again, potato wouldn't normally be in a yakisoba, but it's what I got in the box, and I'm not gonna let it go to waste. Now, yakisoba in Seattle, and Howard, you're a Seattle guy, I'm a Seattle guy. You do not come to Seattle and not eat yakisoba. And like, when I went to school on the East Coast, there were sandwich places on every corner. In Seattle, there's teriyaki places on every corner. And at those teriyaki places, you can get really two things, teriyaki or yakisoba. And so this is kind of my corner yakisoba, meaning it's like on the, the corner of any street. And they just kind of take a mismatch of vegetables, whatever they got, and they kind of stir fry it with some really good egg noodles, which I love. So we're gonna do the exact same thing. I'm gonna grab a little towel. All right, so my potato is in, which I've never had potato in yakisoba, but it's gonna be bomb. And then I'm gonna grab some onion, cut the bottom off, cut the top off, cut it in half. And then when you cut an onion, by the way, if you're ever wondering why you're crying when you're cutting an onion, it's because your knife's not sharp. You're squeezing out all the gas and it's going to your eyes. So there is a way to not cry when cutting your onion, which is getting a little wet towel. Have I done this with you, Howard?
I think but it's a good
I'll do it again.
Reminder.
Yeah, you hold it in your mouth.
Because I love watching you.
While you chop, and all the vapors go to the wet towel instead of your eyes. You look insane, but it does save your eyes. To slice this, watch me, Howard, I'm gonna kind of follow the shape of the onion. And when I get halfway, I'm gonna turn the onion over and keep slicing. So I'm gonna do that again just a little faster. So slice, turn. Cool? So all the onion in. Kind of scrunch it in your hands. Break it up. Love onion. Beautiful. It's a great little box they gave me. These are all like baseline ingredients that you always can use. All right, so we just got a giant pan and we're just screaming hot. If you don't have a wok, this is perfect. Just get your biggest pan, put it on the heat, and get it going. All right, celery, I'm gonna click off a couple of these. They're always sandy on the bottom. So I'm just gonna come over here, give them a quick rinse, and then I'm just gonna literally shave them, right? And you don't have to go this fast. You can just take your time and go nice and slow. But I want them really, really skinny. I don't want chunks of celery. Celery chunks, it's a little too much. But when you cut celery nice and thin, it actually really complements other things. I'm probably only gonna use one of these. It's a lot of celery. Save that for some stock. All right, celery. Scrunch in your hands. In. This looks really good. Give it a quick toss. Those potatoes are getting kind of nice and crispy. Listen, this might be the new thing to throw some potatoes in your yakisoba. A little bit more vegetable oil. All right, garlic. Best way to peel it, grab the head, smash it until the cloves kind of come off. I'm gonna go with 2 cloves. Take the side of your knife, smash those, and just pop out the garlic. The garlic skin itself, you can infuse in butter, so you can just like melt some butter, throw the skin in it, and you have garlic butter. So next time you make garlic bread, instead of wasting a clove on the garlic bread, just throw the skin in there, and you've got really, really good flavored butter. By the way, that butter tossed in like pasta, so good. I'm having Italian food tonight, Howard. I'm so excited. So I'm just thinking everything Italian food, even though I'm making yakisoba right now. All right, so garlic, I want to really get it nice and fine. All right. Beautiful. The finer you get this, the better. And again, I'll show you a trick I love to do is just grab a little bit of salt right over the top of that garlic. And it just kind of helps break it down. The reason why we're doing this is because I want a little bit of garlic in every bite of noodle. I don't want just chunks in 1 or 2 bites. So the smaller you get it, the more it's gonna kind of fall through each individual noodle. Beautiful. Now again, let's say you don't have potato. Let's say you don't have onion. Let's say you don't even have garlic. It doesn't matter. Just throw whatever you have into some vegetable oil, saute it with a little bit of noodles, and you're gonna have some really good yakisoba. All right, 2 more veggies we're gonna play with. I've got some carrot. Just gonna grade this. Probably just about half. A little color, a little sweetness. Beautiful. That's really good. Awesome. And then I got some cabbage. It's a lot of veggies. I'm feeling healthy. Cabbage is a really intimidating thing to cut because it's so big. You can literally just take it and just smash it and it will kind of loosen the bottom. And you can kind of cut it out so you don't have the core. I'm just gonna take a little knob off the sides here. God, they send me so much produce, I love it. Because then I'm set up for weeks. Imperfect Produce and I have been friends for a very long time. And they're just doing things that no one else is doing. I mean, they're taking ingredients, again, that grocery stores are denying for the dumbest reasons. And they're making them accessible to everyday people, which is so special. I remember in an apartment building I lived in, we would get our Imperfect Produce box and it would just be on our doorstep. And then one day I noticed that our neighbors had it, like a couple of rows down. And then like 3 months later, our entire row of apartments had Imperfect Produce boxes. And I'm not saying I'm a trendsetter, I'm just saying Imperfect Produce is reaching more and more homes. And if you like really good fresh vegetables and also like making a difference, this is so your jam. All right, so the vegetables are sauteing, potatoes, the cabbage, we're gonna give it some time. Now I'm gonna make the sauce. The sauce is so damn easy. Grab a bowl. I've got 4 ingredients. And if you don't have one of these, it's still gonna come out great. All right, sriracha. If you don't have sriracha in your fridge, you don't have a fridge. I don't acknowledge your fridge. You need to have sriracha. So I'm gonna add about a tablespoon of sriracha. Now, a lot of yakisoba asks for ketchup. Gross. This is my replacement of ketchup. This is oyster sauce, okay? Used in Chinese cooking. Don't ask why I'm making it in a Japanese dish. This is why I love it, right? So I'm just gonna add 2 tablespoons of oyster sauce, or double the amount of sriracha with oyster sauce. Balsamic vinegar. Again, I'm eating Italian food tonight, so I'm throwing a little vinegar in. I thought it'd be good, but it's just gonna give a little bite, so just a couple of shakes of that. And then soy sauce, right in. And I want double soy sauce than everything else. Oh, you know what I wanna add? You know what I'm gonna add? I know that, judge me if you wanna judge me, a little bit of sugar. Little bit of sugar. It's gonna take a bite off the vinegar. It's gonna be really nice. All right, so then I'm just gonna stir this up. And it should look kind of glossy and glazy. Doesn't that kind of make you think teriyaki place, Howard?
Yeah, and the smell is
It's very teriyaki, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. All right. So this is looking good. Now, let's talk about the noodles. The noodles, where are my noodles? Got them. The beauty about yakisoba noodles, and these are actually called yakisoba noodles. You can find them anywhere nowadays. The beauty about them, you don't have to boil them. So you literally just tear them like this, and you kind of just break them apart right in the pan, just like that. So just tear and break apart. And they're really, really delicious. They're almost like spaghetti, right? But they're a little bit more bouncy, they take on the flavor, and as you stir fry them, they can actually get really crispy, which I love. This is gonna be insane. If you're trying to eat more vegetables, this is so your jam right here. Okay. So, now what I'm gonna do is save the rest of that for later. You can also freeze it. It stays good for up to a year, a really long time. So I'm gonna take my spoon and just kind of move my noodles and vegetables. How much time do I got, Howard?
4 minutes, 40 seconds.
4 minutes, 40 seconds, okay. So I'm just kind of scraping as I go, sauteing everything. Cool. Now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna let that kind of crisp up. I'm gonna grab just a handful of water and all that does is just kind of help break up the noodles. You don't want any more than that because we're trying to get it crispy. We're not trying to steam it. This looks so perfect. All right, our glaze in with the vinegar, the oyster sauce, the sriracha, the soy. I don't want too much. If you think about when you're dressing this yakisoba, have you ever had a salad that's really soggy and it has way too much dressing? Think of it at the same kind of vibe. You don't want this overdressed. You still want to taste the pasta, all those beautiful imperfect food produce. So we're just stirring this through. This looks so good, smells incredible. And again, it's like so nostalgic. If you're from Seattle, you know that corner yakisoba is where it's at. All right, I'm grabbing a plate. Can you believe that? Insane. So plating it up. And again, you can wait and like give this a couple more minutes and it will get even crispier in the bottom. If it starts to stick, you can add a little bit more vegetable oil. But I think this looks awesome. I'm gonna give it a little taste. Oh, it's rich. The oyster sauce kind of brings it all through. The garlic kind of pops. And again, it's in every bite. And this produce, the potato actually works. I got a good amount of that potato. So, I've got some sesame seeds, totally unnecessary, but does give it a little toasty love at the very end. And I'm gonna add a little salt, just at the very end. Stir that through, and oh my Lord, turn off the heat. This usually comes, and I know it's not the most sustainable thing, but in a big styrofoam kind of like box. And you eat that, it's like a Coca-Cola. You're talking with your buddies from high school. Now I'm just taking you back down memory lane. But yakisoba means a lot to Seattleites. All right, so I'm just gonna kind of dump this out. Oh, and everything Imperfect Foods sent me kind of worked beautifully in this. I'm gonna grab one more little bite here. Woo! All right, grab up all the noodles. Give it a little spread. Grab a little bit more of those sesame seeds right over the top. And that, my friends, is a little taste of Seattle the imperfect way. And if you are not signed up for an Imperfect Foods box, you need to get on that now. They're coming to Seattle. I'm doing an event with them here, February 20th. That's gonna be off the hook. We'll throw the link up in this video, but hopefully you enjoyed this. Hopefully you're all about imperfect foods like I am. And hopefully you're gonna be into yakisoba after you try this one at home. Enjoy. For more episodes, head to readyforseconds.com or, of course, Yumly.